Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahushai being the name of his beloved Son, who the world really calls Jesus. It's the brother Yair Radah, the WFI Indiana Kid, coming at y'all with a quick cold cut through the spirit, straight up and down, going into the Lord requires more from you. All right, we're going to dive right into it, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 41. It says, "And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain." Meaning what? Right? Straight up in context is going into what? How to treat one another. You understand? But it also says what? Whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Right? Compel going into right order, command, ask, so on and so forth. Right? So if the Lord commanded you or compelled you to do the law, statutes, and commandments, then you got to do it with all your might. If the Lord commanded you, you understand, or compelled you to do A, B, and C, whatever it may be, whatever it may consist of, you know what the Lord required of you. You know what the Lord compelled you to do. You know what the Lord wants from you. It said, go with him twain, man. Right? So you don't want to give the Most High God, you understand, you giving them the leftovers. Right? You giving them the leftovers just because it's enough. Nah. The Lord said, go with them twain. You understand? And you see that as a pattern throughout the scriptures. Right? The Lord's, let me get this real quick. And we bring, I bring it out a lot, but that's because, you know, it's so simple, but it's powerful, right? 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17, pray without ceasing. You understand? Hey, you gotta pray without ceasing. That don't mean you'll only pray 2 times a day. Okay, cool. You pray three times a day. Okay, cool. All praise to the Most High. Nothing wrong with that. But also, do you know you could do more? Is it possible for you to do more? Yeah. It's possible for you to pray, you understand, 5 times a day or 4 times a day. Right? Outside of your regular 1 to 2 times you may pray. Nothing wrong with going that extra twain, man. Nothing wrong with doubling that. You understand? Hey, you may read 2 chapters a day. There's nothing wrong with reading 4 or reading a 3rd chapter. You understand? Go with them twain, right? Hey, the Lord said, pray without ceasing, right? Also, right, let's go to the book real fast, right? Colossians. It's the book of Colossians, right, chapter 3 and verse 23. It says, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, right? Heartily, right? That when you go into that word heartily is going into basically kind of going that extra mile. You understand? Or going, you know, to a length or an extent, you understand, to get whatever it is done. Right? So when it says do it heartily, it says as to the Lord and not unto men, because the things that you do in this truth, guess what? You doing these things unto the Lord. So what you give, what you put out, what you put in to this truth, you doing that and you giving that unto the Most High God. Right? Now, only you know if what you're doing, you understand, is you going the bare minimum, or if you going as hard as you can, if you giving it all that you can, to the point to where you could be like somebody like Paul, which could say, hey, I fought the good fight. You understand? Hey, I put everything into it. Even on a carnal level, these basketball players, football players, they said, man, hey, man, I left it all on the field, man. I gave it everything I could. I gave it everything that I could. Right? You want to be able to say something of that manner when it's all said and done. You want to be able to look back and say, bro, hey, man, I gave it everything I could. Not, damn, man, I could have went harder than that, man. I wish I would have, I wish that. You don't want no regrets, man. You want to give it all that you can. That's how you make your calling and election sure. Making your calling and election sure, right? Let's get that in the book of 1 Peter, right? It's like 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. You making your calling and election sure is not doing the bare requirements. You making your calling and election sure is going beyond that. You understand? Even when you run a race, right? If you ever ran track and field before, they don't tell you to just make it to the finish line. They tell you to what? They tell you to run through the finish line. You understand? Because if you just wait till you get to the finish line and then stop, guess what? That person that's on the side of you that ran through the finish line, you understand? Guess what? Hey, they probably gonna beat you, man. They probably gonna beat you. Why? Because they made it a surety. They didn't leave nothing behind. They gave it all the way, even past. Even when you train for stuff like that, you run 10 yards afterwards, right? The finish line was 10 yards ago, but they tell you to run 10 yards after that, right? Finish through the line. And while you in this truth, finish through the line, all right? Go hard. Go with the Lord Twain, man, so that you be able to say, hey, I fought the good fight, man, right? So you will be able to make your calling and election sure, so that you understand, to be able to say when it's all said and done, look back and not have no regrets, or say, man, I should have did this, or I should have went harder. All right? Because the things that you do, like we read in Colossians 3:23 and 24, guess what? You doing these things unto the Lord. So with that, Kwame Yasha Allah, Shalom.